Hello, welcome to my day 7. I've made 7 days of doing YouTube videos. I'm on a roll. Today, I just wanted to really talk about manifestation and trauma and how when you're traumatized and you're living with a traumatized body and brain, um, manifestation can be really challenging and it can be really hard. And I don't know about you, but I get very, very frustrated with the constant kind of things around the law of attraction. And if you do this and you do that and you think differently and change your energy, and it's actually really difficult for people who are stuck in these kind of trauma loops. And believe me, I know from my own experience and experience from a lot of my clients and the people around me, they can struggle to make the changes in their life and they can struggle to let go of things because a lot of our survival patterns and beliefs are actually keeping us safe, or so we believe they're keeping us safe. And it's not just as simple as kind of like letting it go or moving on or forgetting about it. So I wanted to just kind of like come in a little bit and talk about this particular aspect of kind of trauma manifestation and this kind of we get caught in this loop of reenactment. So if you feel a bit like you're on Groundhog Day most of the time, it's because you probably are, because you're stuck in this kind of reenactment of trauma. And I'm going to read a few things out of Peter Levine's book, Waking the Tiger and Healing Trauma, because I think that he explains it really well. He explains the whole concept of this reenactment really well. And it's from the chapter Blueprint for Repetition. And he says, like, so the drive to complete and heal trauma is as powerful and tenacious as the symptoms it creates. The urge to resolve trauma through reenactment can be severe and compulsive. We are inextricably drawn to situations that replicate the original trauma in both obvious and unobvious ways. And he uses the example here: the prostitute or stripper with a history of childhood sexual abuse is a common example. We may find ourselves experiencing the effects of trauma either through physical symptoms or through a full-blown interaction with the external environment. Reenactments may be acted out in immediate relationships, work situations, repetitive accidents or mishaps, and other seemingly random events. Now, I was hit by a car when I was 4 years old, and I was then hit by a car again in my 20s, and I had a lot of near misses. So there is, and there is an example in here that he talks about people who are having the same circumstances and situations happen to them again, like, crashes and accidents and things. So it's very, when you reenact, because what you get happens is you get caught in this loop, right? And you're reenacting things constantly all the time, and you're in your head, you're in your thinking brain. So you're not in your body, you're not able to sort of manifest and have that energy, because when you're in survival, your survival brain takes over, right? So your kind of reptilian survival brain is taking over because it's the powerful one, because it's the thing that's keeping you safe. And you are then trying to work out how things are going to happen. You're trying to work out what is going to happen next, where you're going to go and what you're going to do. And in that context, that's why manifestation doesn't work, because the whole point of manifestation, and it's surrendering to the outcome. It's surrendering to what you think or don't think is going to happen. But when you're in the midst of trauma or you're in survival, you're constantly trying to work out what is going to happen next. If I say this, if I do this, if I go this way, if I do that, that's going to keep me safe, because you're in your survival brain. So it's not that you can't manifest, because we are all manifestors, right? We are all, by default, we are creators, right? So we create in, in this beautiful world, in, the way that God was the creator, and we create in the image of God, and we do all of those amazing things. We are the creative beings. We are creators, right? So you naturally create. Every time you send a text, you're creating something. So, but what's happening is that you're not being able to create, you're creating by default. You're creating through this kind of like thing that's going on internally inside of you through reenactment and being stuck on a loop. So what you really want to be able to do is clear some of that reenactment. So it's understanding your traumas, understanding what's going on. And Peter Levine puts it really well in here. So let me just find what he actually says. For you. Give me just 2 minutes. Yeah. Okay. So, what he says here is reenactment represents the organism's attempt to complete the natural cycle of activation and deactivation that accompanies the response to the threat in the wild. Now, he's talking about animals, right? So, in the wild, activation is often discharged by running or fighting or by other active behaviors that bring about a successful conclusion to the potentially life-threatening confrontation. If the original event required an active escape strategy, then reenactments that attempt the same thing should come as no surprise to us. Because we are human, we are more vulnerable to traumatization in a way that animals are not. So, the key to the exit from this seemingly unsolvable predicament lies in the characteristics that most clearly distinguish us from animals, and it's our ability to be consciously aware of our inner experience. So when you become very consciously aware of what's going on internally, your thoughts, your feelings, your nervous system, what state is your nervous system in, then what you can do is you can start healing those things. You can start registering, okay, I'm reacting to this whenever something like this happens. I am reacting. What do I need to do? Go into my body. What do I need to heal? Why don't I feel safe in this particular circumstance or situation? So if you're struggling with manifestation and it's because you've got some trauma running in the background, it's not because there's nothing wrong with you, because all you're actually doing is you're still manifesting, but you're actually just manifesting what's happened to you in the past over and over and over again because it's stuck on a loop. And that's what trauma does. It keeps us stuck on this repetitive loop. I can't tell you the amount of times I'm thinking to myself, I've been here before. This is like something's happening again. So you have to be very aware of what's going on internally, but also taking signs and signals from your external world that's telling you very clearly that something similar is happening to you. So I just wanted to come on and just say that a little bit about manifestation and trauma, and how reenactment kind of interferes with that kind of manifestation process that you really want to start when you want to start manifesting by intention, because you're always doing it by default anyway, because we are creators, we're creative beings. So if you're always doing it by default, then you have to then recognize, actually, maybe I'm just stuck in a trauma loop, right? And it's not our reactions in terms of our trauma. We don't have a choice in those. They're very automatic, because if you're in your survival brain, that's your automatic, it's your autonomic nervous system that's saying, I need to keep you safe. So it's an automatic thing that it does. It's like you can't just go, okay, I'm not going to have that in me. We all have it. So you can't just sort of say, okay, I'm not going to react to this car coming at me or this bear coming at me, because your survival brain is going to go, I know what I need to do here. I need to get you out. I need to freeze, shut down, or get you out, or run, or flee, or fight, right? But what happens is that when we've experienced past trauma, we get stuck in these kind of trauma loops, I like to call them, these kind of trauma loops where we're reenacting behaviors and patterns. And we need to get off them. It's like a merry-go-round, and you've just got to get off. So it's about slow down that merry-go-round, slow it down until eventually it stops and you can get off. So I hope that's been helpful for you. And again, it's been lovely talking to you. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this kind of thing. And my day 7, I've done my day 7. So go me. I'm really pleased with myself, actually, that I've managed to do it. And I'm enjoying it. And that's, I think, is the key factor in anything. When you go into your resistance, so I'm obviously going into my resistance, is that the other side of it is your growth, your development. And it's actually probably something you're going to enjoy doing, especially if it's about your career or, things you want to change in your life. But there's also other aspects as well. If you're feeling resistant to certain things, it's always about growth. Are you resistant to the report that you've got to write or the appointment you've got to go to? Explore that resistance, because on the other side of that resistance is good, because it's giving you something, it's giving you information. It's not something to be feared, it's something to befriend. So have a beautiful day, and I will see you for my next YouTube, which will be day 8, which is tomorrow.